Right now at 6, a 5-year-old boy fighting for his life after being hit by a car while riding a scooter. More on that investigation as officials search for the suspect. Plus, a celebration of life for a fallen D.C. police officer, how his family and community say they want people to remember Officer Terry Bennett. And the family of a Georgia teen killed back in 2013 demanding justice at the U.S. Supreme Court. The reason they say this case is far from over. Fox 5 News at 6 starts right now. But first, at 6, a live look outside across the region. Some clouds with a potential chance of some rain this evening. We got our Jennifer Delgado joining us now with a check on the forecast. What are we looking at this weekend? Some good weather, I'm hoping, especially today. Looks like it's nice.
Yeah, nice day, and we're happy to have you in studio today. You're Regina Ureta. You know I love to say your name, so I get to say it here. Regina Ureta. So what we're going to be looking at tonight, really just some clouds around. We do have a chance that we might get some showers as we go through tomorrow, maybe an isolated storm. But if you're heading out this evening, you can put away the umbrellas. We are not looking at any rainfall immediately, but we do have a couple chances as we go through this week. So we look at our weather headlines and we started off like this. Tomorrow afternoon, we do have a chance for some pop-up storms possible. Majority of the area will be dry, but then we look ahead for this week. We're going to get back into that summer-like pattern, especially as we go into your Tuesday. We'll see a better chance for some isolated thunderstorms to pop up. But this is the view right now. This is our camera out in Reston and the Reston station. High clouds passing through the sky. Really is a good-looking evening. Our dew points are in the 50s, meaning humidity is low. Our temperature 81 degrees, and our winds are from the south. Humidity will be creeping back up as we go through the next couple of days, but our temperatures have been really slow to climb. Today, our high was 82 degrees. That's below the average of 90 degrees. And as we look at the rainfall for the month, not so bad. 3.24 inches. We'll get a couple chances to add to that rainfall as we look ahead to start off your week. Now, as we look at the numbers right now, we have the 70s and the 80s around. 80 degrees in Manassas, 78 degrees in Gaithersburg, and then 77 degrees for our friends in Culpeper. Temperatures running just a couple degrees cooler than they were this time yesterday, but the biggest change out there, those dew points are in the lower 60s. Now, what we will see for tomorrow are those dew points going into the lower 60s for a good chunk of the region, meaning that humidity is going to creep up, and then by Monday, it's humid, and Tuesday, we got a case of the muggies returning with the threat for some stronger storms. Here's your satellite and radar. Dry conditions for us. We didn't have any rainfall throughout the afternoon. A few communities down towards the south had some showers to start off with as the disturbance pulled away. But here is our boundary system right now creating rainfall for parts of the Carolinas. It will continue to dry out. And as we look ahead for us for tomorrow afternoon, the chance for a few pop-up isolated thunderstorms around, increasing really with every day as we go up until about Wednesday. Low pressure pulls away. But as we look ahead for tonight, mostly clear skies, and then tomorrow morning you'll wake up to sunshine out there, and then a chance we could be dodging some storms. But look at these low temperatures for tomorrow. Low 65 degrees out of Dallas, 65 in Quantico. Average for this time of the year is 72 degrees, and then tomorrow afternoon we're going to see a high of 86 degrees, Regina, with a chance for some rain.
All right, Jen, thank you. And you are joining us now live on WTTG. And now developing tonight, a 5-year-old critically injured after being hit by a car while riding a scooter in Southeast D.C. Police say it happened yesterday evening on Ridgecrest Court. Investigators say the driver was speeding at the time of the accident and fled the scene. The 5-year-old is currently recovering at the hospital. No arrests have been made, but officials say the suspect was driving a dark blue Nissan with Virginia tag number TAK 9548. 2 people, including a child, taken to the hospital after an elderly driver crashed into a farmer's market stand in Fairfax. Police say the pedestrian crash happened on Main Street. We're told the two victims' injuries are minor. The farmer's market remained open. And community members coming together today to honor Terry Bennett, the police officer killed earlier this year. He was hit by an allegedly impaired driver on the side of I-695 2 days before Christmas and died 2 weeks later. This Tuesday would have been Terry's 33rd birthday. Fox 5 photojournalist Matthew Myers has the story from Landsberg Park.
Today, people can look at this and realize that you as just one person can make so much change and so much impact.
We're at our first district station to celebrate the Terry Bennett Day. It's a community event that's been established by his family and officers here at MPD to honor and recognize Officer Terry Bennett, who tragically lost his life earlier this year in the line of duty.
It's been a long journey, planning and trying to make sure everything goes seamlessly with his birthday. I'm happy that we didn't lose sight of the reason for the day, which was to honor Terry and honor him around his birthday. Seeing all these people out here from different walks of life, even in the local community, it's so fulfilling to know that Terry had this much of an impact.
Terry pledged himself to the community as well as being an officer. I made a sign for people to pledge and say that they'll be a better person in the community and do the best that they can. I think that he would love this. He would appreciate that everybody is pledging to be better because that's all he strived to do during his time that he was here.
Terry Bennett was a man of honor, a man of stature, very well celebrated and respected in the district. I was Terry's supervisor on midnights. When I first got promoted, he's really instrumental in helping me find my way around the first district. Found out he coached just like I coached. Had a lot of things in common. Great officer, better person. Better person.
The family's going to come up as they give the first ever Terry Bennett Scholarship recipient his award.
I feel that now a lot of the kids in the community, they look up to him.
I have received Terry Bennett's kidney.
Take the community that they live in and make something more of it.
Thanks to Terry, I was able to finish and graduate college on time and get a bachelor's degree.
This is literally a day that was put together just because someone did good in the community. He wasn't a dignitary. He wasn't anybody that was just important to DC, but he just was important to his community, and simple things like that can really make a difference.
And protesters gathering at the Lincoln Memorial today calling for an immediate end to political oppression in Iran. Here's a live shot of those demonstrations happening right now. This comes as the U.S. and Iran appear to hold off on additional attacks. Yesterday marked the 13th consecutive night of strikes by the U.S. Iran has been responding, targeting U.S. Gulf allies. Meanwhile, the White House says President Trump is considering a joint military campaign with Israel. The Pentagon also confirming the identity of one of the soldiers killed in the Iranian strikes in Jordan. We're told 28-year-old Staff Sergeant Angel Rampersad was killed back on July 17th as the war in Iran continues. So I want to bring in Sina Azodi, I should say, assistant professor and director of the Middle East Studies Master's Program at George Washington University. Sina, today we are seeing an apparent pause in U.S.-Iran strikes, but now Saudi Arabia and the Houthi rebel group have exchanged fire. So what can you tell us from today? Is the conflict between the U.S. and Iran firing up tensions among other nearby nations this week?
Well, the Houthis are a group, a non-state actor in Yemen who have had for years and decades conflict with the Saudis. The Houthis are aligned with Iran and Saudis are aligned with the United States. And for a while, in the first round of conflict, which started on February 27th, the Houthis stayed out of the fight. Largely stayed out of the fight, but this time around, it appears that they have imposed what they have announced, a blockade of Bab el-Mandeb, another global energy chokehold, which threatens Saudi oil exports. And we saw that after the Houthis announced this, the price of oil went up, the price of gas in our region went up again. So they can have an impact by closing that and add that to the Strait of Hormuz, which is now closed by Iranians. And at the same time, there's a blockade by the U.S. Navy there. So there's a lot of pressure on global markets. And as far as Iran and the U.S. is concerned, as you pointed out, there is a pause in the exchanges between Iranians and Americans.
Now, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, he's expected to visit the White House Monday. Israel has largely remained on the sidelines since the early days of the conflict, but now there are reports President Trump is considering asking Israel to re-enter the campaign. So what do you feel are the chances we could see Israel's return to escalation?
I mean, there's a possibility that Israelis may want to come back, but the first time around, the Israelis were largely under a lot of pressure from the Iranian missiles that were targeting Israel. At this point, that memorandum of understanding that ended the conflict in all theaters is practically falling apart. But the exchanges between Iranians and Americans, and Iranians have been very careful not to target the Israelis to keep them out of the fight. The question whether they will enter the conflict or not, I'm not really sure. But I think at this point that we are talking, Iranians and Americans, the fact that they have stopped exchanging fire, I think this is a positive step. And hopefully with the mediation of Pakistanis, Qataris, and perhaps even Omanis, we could go back to the full implementation of that memorandum of understanding between Iran and the U.S. and hopefully have a comprehensive peace.
And very quickly, just to wrap up here, but what does this mean for future negotiations? What could we be expecting in these next couple of weeks?
I think if there are talks ongoing between Iranians and Americans with the help of, as I said, Pakistanis and Qataris, there has to be a first de-escalatory measures to stop the exchanges, then go back to the implementation of memorandum of understanding, and hopefully, as I said, sign a comprehensive political solution that ends the conflict instead of having a ceasefire.
All right, Zina, thank you so much for joining us. We'll keep a little eye on that, of course, the escalations and the conflict overseas.